Good morning, everyone. Good morning. And to all of you, those of you out there in the World Wide Web, good morning to you as well. So this is a little quick review about how to quote and how to do it well, because it often is not done well. So first of all, got some fancy ones today. I'm going to tell you what not to do so that you don't do it, and then we'll get into what you should do. First thing to remember, quotes don't speak for themselves. They don't have their own voice. So therefore, if you just throw a quote randomly into your essay, it won't make much sense to the person who is reading it, and it will make you as a writer seem like you don't know how to write because you just randomly throw this thing in there with no explanation for it whatsoever. You also should not use a quote that is not relevant to your topic. And this goes along with don't just randomly put a quote in your essay, and it actually connects up to how you should put a quote into your essay. So if your essay, say, is about fast food restaurants, we'll go along that theme that we talked about with whatever we were doing. Summaries, thank you. We were talking about summaries. Yes, that was a whole 2 days ago. Yes. See, it's anyway. You can see how busy the life of a teacher is. Okay. So it's okay. It's humorous. It's done on purpose. A little, satire bit of teaching. So. Yeah, I know. I like to beat the dead horse with its own leg. That's a metaphor. It's not real. I don't really like doing that. Funny. That was a good one, Sydney. That was a good one. No, I wasn't being sarcastic right then. Yeah, that was a good one. It's very witty. So you don't just throw in a random quote, say your essay is about fast food restaurants, and you don't throw in a random quote about, say, I don't know, fish sticks. Because if you do, people are going to say, what is this person talking about? Right? And this is going to tie into what you actually should do. And the other one, this is sort of a pet peeve of many English teachers. Don't introduce a quote using the basic line, the author says or the author shows. It is very much overused, much like the word very is overused. Okay, I don't exactly know where you would use that in a formal essay, but it'll work. So I will actually give you a handout that will give you some ways to introduce quotes that are more than just the author says or shows. Yes?
The authors says, shows?
Oh my goodness, you pointed out an error. Yeah. It should be the author, not the authors, plural. I got a little fast with my typing there and typed an S twice. It happens sometimes. Silly, isn't it? Yeah. So, are we ready to move on to what you should do?
Yes.
What to do?
Slide number 2.
Yeah. Slide number. I like this transition. It's like a Star Wars thing or something. Okay. It's like you were teleported from one slide.
Do you think one day we'll be able to teleport?
I am in a good mood today. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know why. Maybe. So, the first thing you should do is choose a quotation that will support your opinion or that is going to be refuted by you. Refuted means rebutted or argued against.
Okay.
All right.
Again? Oh, against.
Right, so you bring out a point and then you're going to say why it's wrong. Yeah? Okay. being refuted. You should choose this quote wisely, because not only should it be relevant to your topic, but it should also help to further your topic along, right? The next thing you should do is surround your major quotes with a frame that does the following things. So the frame is, you have an introduction, you have the quote, and you have an explanation of the quote. So we have a frame, an introduction and explanation on either side of the quote. Okay? First thing it should do is explains who said it. Because if you just throw in a random quote without telling who said it, we'll be confused and wondering who it was that said this quote. Okay? Next thing you should do is explain what the quote means. No matter, remember, the quote doesn't speak for itself. No matter how self-explanatory the quote might be, explain it. And along with that explanation, you need to explain how it relates to your essay or your idea. So you can actually combine 2 and 3 together, explaining what the quote means and how it relates to your essay or your idea in the same couple of sentences. Yes, question?
It would be 1, quote, 2, 3.
Yes, that is correct. You explain who said it, number 1. Then you put the quote in, 1.5, and then 1.5. Anyway, I don't know how to do that. And then number 2, you're going to explain it and explain how it relates to your idea, right? So you have number 1 is the first side of the frame, and 2 and 3 are the second side of the frame, with the quote in the middle. Visuals, right? They help. Understandable so far? Are we ready to move on to a bad example? Not yet. Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the bad example then while you are writing this down. So, the bad example is not from a real essay. I made it up at about 11:30 last night. But the essay does, if you were to write this essay, it would be an essay about the U.S. becoming more isolated. Okay? Are we ready now?
Yeah.
And what I mean by the U.S. becoming more isolated is that people are becoming more isolated as individuals rather than expressing more a sense of community as a whole. So, the author's main idea is that people are mean. No longer do we smile at each other in the street.
That's so good.
So, like I said, this is a made-up thing. Okay? It may or may not be true. I don't know. But why is this bad? I don't say who the author is, right?
You don't say who it is, and then it's really bad what people are mean.
I sort of just threw it in there and then sort of went on with my stuff, right? And didn't really explain how this quote tied in, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you want to write this bad one down, or you just want to write the good one down?
Just the good.
You want to write the bad one down?
Yeah, that would be.
Okay. It actually might behoove you to write the bad one down, because then you can see how the good one is
What is the good?
different, benefit you.
Okay.
Hey, that was pretty good. Yeah. That was actually unplanned. That was coincidental. I would recommend it, but if you, I mean, it might take you some time, but if you would like to, the PowerPoint will be posted on School Loop later. Or you can watch this on YouTube later tonight at your leisure.
Leisure. Oh my gosh, Sandra.
There are many different ways of pronouncing words, Sydney, depending on where you are from
And you're from
and where you are going. Good. But we're in California, right? So that means we can. We're so widely influenced by other places that we can say it however we want.
No, we're in.
Yeah, no.
No.
Didn't work for you? Okay. All right, next one. I love, I get like, there's got to be some sort of sound effect that can do like in the thing, right? You can, but I don't know if there's one that will do that noise when the slide goes. That would be, I'll have to figure it out. Okay. So here is a much better example. And you'll also notice how when you actually use the frame around your quote, right, it actually lengthens your essays. You're like, oh, people will always complain about I don't know how to write enough. Well, this is another way that you can get more length into your essays. It's actually not very difficult to write. As the prominent philosopher John Doe writes, people are mean. The essence of Doe's argument is that people no longer show common courtesy to each other. His idea corresponds with the notion that the United States is becoming more a nation of isolation rather than camaraderie.
That's a good one.
Yeah, buddy.
Danny.
You still have to say where it's from.
So in a case like, as far as putting in like a works cited parenthetical notation reference,
Wouldn't that kind of break the flow?
if John Doe, if you were citing more than one reference or more than one article written by John Doe, then yes, you would put the article title in there. But if it's if there's only one John Doe that you've referenced in your work, this will work as instead of a parenthetical reference.
Oh my God, that's so weird. Do you have to write this?
No. You don't have to do anything in life, but this would definitely benefit you when you are looking back and saying, how do I make my quote better? And you can see that this is a better way to do it than the first example, which was a bad example. No, these are the only ones.
Just that one?
Just this one. So you won't have to write down any more than these 40 or so words. That is so difficult to write down being in an AP